Hello, Facebook friends. It's Carla, your online doctor, with today's Live in 5. Today is Monday, February 24th. It is 5 p.m. I just went live a second ago by accident. I must have hit the button and then I was talking to my daughter, so I don't know what happened. So I deleted that one. So if you saw me for 2 seconds, that's what happened. Hello, Cecilia. Okay, so what I'm sharing with you over the next couple of days, I shared in my private Facebook group last week all about viruses and how they work, how your immune system works to help you stay healthy, and other things you can do to avoid getting sick. Now, when talking about viruses, you have to first know that there are over 2,000 known viruses, but only about 10% of them are believed to affect humans. Now, we used to think human viruses did not affect animals, and animal viruses did not affect humans. But we now know that that is not the case, okay? They can be transmitted across some species and may even create new strains when this actually happens. Okay, so the strains become variants of, or like they slightly change, so they're not quite the same as what they were in the animal versus what they now are in a human, and vice versa. Okay, so let's start with what is a virus. And it's interesting to talk to people because even though we talk about viruses all the time, most people don't know much about what they really are. So a virus is a microscopic, pathogenic, parasitic organism. Yes, a virus is a parasite, okay? Basically, a parasite is something that lives off of somebody else or something else, right? So a virus cannot replicate outside of a living organism. They call that a host. It doesn't have its own respiratory or metabolic system, okay? It needs the host for all of its functions, okay? So it's completely dependent on the body in which it invades. Now, once inside the host, it reprograms the cell that it invades. It reprograms the cell's DNA or RNA, so its genetic material, to do all that the virus wants it to do. So instead of that cell doing what it's supposed to do for the human, it now does whatever the virus wants it to do. It uses the host cell's genetic material to allow it to multiply, and eventually the cell gets filled up with new virus cells, and it bursts open, releasing thousands of new viruses into the blood or whatever tissue it's in, looking for new cells to invade. Okay, I mean, I know it sounds disgusting, but this is how it happens. This cycle is called the lytic cycle and represents the active phase of a viral disease. Okay, unfortunately, some viruses go into what's called a lysogenic cycle and remain dormant in the host cells. Okay, so they're there, but they're not really doing anything, but they haven't gone away. Okay, and they may not even be detectable if you were to test in the blood for these viruses, okay? So it can do this for years before it quote unquote reactivates, right? So think about your herpes blister. Like if you get one of those, it comes, it goes. You haven't become reinfected with the herpes virus. It just decides it's going to pop up. Usually under times of stress, lack of sleep, poor nutrition, whatever it may be, where your immune system may be slightly under par, and boom, it appears. Okay? Or the chickenpox turning into shingles. Same virus, dormant in the body. And in that case, it's actually a totally different presentation than it was the first time. Okay? Or what about Epstein-Barr virus? Okay, infectious mononucleosis is its acute phase infection. But Epstein-Barr virus, and we're going to talk about this a lot more next week, is really starting to take hold in medicine and believed to be the cause or causative factor in a lot of different diseases. So specifically, thyroid disease is being linked to that. Autoimmune disorders such as lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, inflammatory bowel disease, type 1 diabetes, juvenile idiopathic arthritis, and celiac disease are all starting to be linked to an Epstein-Barr virus that has been dormant and has now reactivated in some way in the body. So, how does your body actually fight a virus? Now, our first line of defense is your skin, your mucus, okay, and your stomach acid. So if we inhale a virus, the mucus in our respiratory system, whether it's in your nasal area, your throat, or if it gets down into your lungs, will actually trap the virus in the mucus and try to expel it. Okay, you'll try to cough it out or sneeze it out, right? If we eat it or somehow we swallow some of that mucus, the hydrochloric acid in your stomach may actually kill off the virus because it's pretty acidic down there, right? And of course, the barrier of intact skin prevents viruses from entering the body. And by that I said intact skin. So if you have open wounds or anything like that, mucous membranes are not intact skin. So there are ways that these viruses can make it into your body, but those are your lines of defense. Hello, Rhonda. So if it gets past the first line of defense, the innate immune system comes into play. And by that, I mean your white blood cells. So first are cells called phagocytes. Okay, they're a type of white blood cell that try to actually engulf the entire virus, okay, to kill them off. Then there are lymphocytes. We have T cells and B cells. They start on the virus, okay, and they actually have what we call memory. So if you've had a previous infection that required them to fight off a virus, and you will actually have created antibodies. So now you have a reintroduction of that virus into the body, and the body says, hey, I've seen you before. I'm going to start making these antibodies, and you're going to kill off that virus before it has a chance to take hold of a cell and start making itself into its home, and before it starts replicating. Okay, but if that virus has mutated or is simply a different strain of the virus, okay, so think about the flu. You say, I've had the flu like 5 times, right, over the course of your lifetime. But each time you've had a different strain of influenza virus. You have not had the same one because you cannot, if your immune system is functioning properly, you cannot get reinfected with the same strain of virus. Okay, so it's a different strain of the virus and it will not be recognized, and then the process starts all over again. Okay, so this is a huge topic, and we're going to continue talking tomorrow about traditional medical treatment for viruses, because viruses are all around us. And with the coronavirus and with influenza virus and with all kinds of other viruses that are out there, you need to know what you can do and what's available, traditional, natural, etc., to keep yourself protected and safe. Okay, so tag a friend in this video, let them know to follow this entire week because it's going to be some good stuff. And come back tomorrow because we're going to talk more. Okay, so hope you guys are having a great day. I will see you again tomorrow for another Live in 5.